Many know me as Vice the DJ, a native Angelino who rocks clubs night after night. What you may not know is that my passion for music is just as big as my passion for food. I decided to share this with the world and bring some friends along for the ride. From the valley to the west side and everywhere in between, join me as I venture out to find some of the best tacos in LA. This is Electric Taco.
I don't know how to open this motherfucker. Shit.
Roy
Okay.
Choi.
Hello, what's
I've been
up,
after
Wes?
finding Papi, aka El Guapo. What is it about LA that just you have so much pride in the city?
I think it's you know, I failed and succeeded here. I left. I thought I'd never come back, and then when I did come back, it changed my whole life. Sometimes you got to hate something all the way.
Yeah.
Until you love it again. I'm a very simple dude. I had very, very humble dreams, man. I wanted to be like a super shuttle driver. That was like my dream, like to run like a little. I love touring people. I guess that's a part of my hospitality and what has kind of emanated itself as a chef. Like I love taking care of people. I have an Olympic Boulevard tat right there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that. But
What's the Olympic Boulevard
that's
story?
that's where we first landed when we got to this country. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So you weren't born in
No, I was born in
States.
Korea. We came when I was about 2 years old.
Yeah.
On some straight immigrant shit. You know what I mean? Like no money in the pocket shit. So
The whole family just got up and moved.
they just bounced.
I'm born and raised in Eagle Rock, California.
Okay.
Which is now on the map, Before,
I used to work at Eagle Rock Plaza
Did you really?
when I was 17. Yeah.
What?
I worked at the Montgomery Wards.
Oh
right there.
wow, that's what's up. I think I stole a couple things.
You did. I worked at a place called Pro Jersey.
A steady beat goes 1, 2, 3, 4. A steady heart goes, I love you more. I know sometimes it's confusing.
I was probably at my lowest point where I'd already hit a couple addictions, and I was just like no good business in K-Town, man. I was about 25 years old, and I was drunk like from morning till morning, every morning till morning till morning till morning. No direction, man. And I just got to a point where I didn't know what I was gonna do, to be honest. And I decided I found this kind of like calling to go into cooking, and I just tried to move as far away as I could, which was New York. My cousin was in his residency to be a doctor, and he gave me his futon for $250 a month. That was the only reason.
Good right there,
yeah,
right?
I was good, man. The first big break I got was at a restaurant called Le Bernardin, and also another French restaurant called Le Grenouille, and
was that your specialty at the point?
I was trying to be a
Sound
French.
like
I was trying to be a French chef.
Why? Why? Like,
I think it's because I still wasn't. I was still confused about my identity as a person. And what I mean by that is, I grew up here in Southern California. I'm Asian. I'm Korean by blood. I grew up around a lot of Chicanos and all kinds of whites, blacks, everything, And my mind thinks in English, but my parents speak in Korean. I never really, I'm like a Chicano, but Asian. And I never really had, someone I really connected to.
Yeah, you've been all over the place, and then cooking's just taking you somewhere else.
I would say so. I think cooking is definitely high. You're being in the moment and giving it your all, your feeling. That's what cooking is. I could take the same ingredients and probably just like you with the same records with some other DJs. I could take the same 5 ingredients and I could somehow, through my emotion, through my connection, transform those things, into magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through all the things I kind of transfer everything I've been through. It's that type of poetry. It's like all the pain, all the joy, everything. And then as you eat it, hopefully you get that story in that moment. You can't be displaced from the moment. And sometimes the way we are right now, we can do 7 different things. We can walk, chew gum, talk on the phone, snap, send a message, and yell at somebody at the same time, right? But with cooking, you got to be there. The whole thing of Kogi was about improv and about feeling the moment. If we were going to do a textbook, it would have never become what it became, because we had to drive these streets and look around and figure out how to cook and what to cook in those moments. First month, we knew we had something special. We just didn't know like it was gonna be huge.
Yeah.
We were just trying to we were just trying to make some cash. We were just trying to, like, I was out of a job. A few of my other partners were out of a job. We were just trying to make shoe money, man, you know, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we just knew we had something great. And we were almost possessed, to be honest. Like, we were eating this food and we were just possessed. Like, you know, I'm sure that's how musicians get. Like, you know you have a sound, you know you have something, and you don't care if there's only like, 2 people in the audience. You know, you're just so possessed by this form and this force. And that's how we were for the first kind of month and a half. And then all of a sudden the crowd started coming. And that's when reality really like confronted us. When you pull over
and they're there before you, right?
They're there before you, and there's 600 to 800 there before you, and they've already formed a line. And when you roll up, they're cheering. That's some real shit.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right.
I'm hungry, brother.
Thanks. This is a different form of like taco. It's not, I don't ever try to say, oh, we do the Puebla style with a touch of Veracruz, you know, and all that, you know. We do fucking Norwalk style with the touch of Whittier. That's what we
exactly.
do.
Is there a guilty pleasure that you have when it comes to food?
Yeah, I love milkshakes, man.
Do you?
I've always loved milkshakes. I wrote about it in the book. I used to be a milkshake like connoisseur. I used to drive all over from Glendora to Pico Rivera to Anaheim to, you know, Whittier to Lakewood.
So let me ask you about your book, LA Son. Like, didn't seem like something you ever wanted to do. You were like, it's not something you had in your plans, right?
Yeah, I think it's going back to because I'm actually a really shy dude.
Yeah.
You know, that's why cooking fits me so well, because I can be at the party, but I can feed the party instead of having to come up with small talk and like socialize.
Yeah,
like I always have, like, cooking is like my armor. But what made me change my mind is that everyone that I was meeting kept asking me, you know, when are you going to write a book? And as Kogi was really developing, and just a year before I wrote the book, I was getting hit with a lot of stuff. Like, people would come up to me and say, you changed my life. You know, strangers would come up to me and hug me and cry.
That's crazy.
People would give me high fives, like running high fives out of nowhere. Running, jumping hugs out of nowhere. And instead of like thinking it's weird or anything, I was just in that waterfall, man. And I realized, like, you know, there's something that I'm meant to say.
So what pushed you to go into the hood, basically, to be like, I'm gonna go to go take it to local. So you have so many things going on, man. I'm like,
no, I mean, local's a big thing. Local's everything right now. I call it revolutionary fast food. So it's taking everything about fast food and taking it apart and saying, like, what can we use and what can we throw away, and then what can we challenge? Healthy, delicious, natural ingredients, and employing from the neighborhood. And re-looking at what it means to hire people for a job. I always say it's about prosperity, not about like money or think directly, but it's about prosperity and wealth for communities that we've stripped those two things of, right? I like to break down walls, you know, because, you know, like, all that stuff is just material anyways. Like,
they grabbed you right now and they pulled you out of your body, and you got to go back to Choi as a 21-year-old or maybe even 18-year-old guy that you were. What would you tell yourself at that point?
I'd give myself advice to trust my instincts more, to stick with it, believe in it, and like what you're feeling, your instinct is going to come out, you know, and don't think it's worthless. And like, all those things, when I finally lived up to it, that's what Kogi is.
It's amazing. LA till we die.
Yeah,
LA Son. Thank you, Roy Choi.
I'm back. El Guapo's back.
El Guapo. Hey, what's up? It's Vice. Thanks for watching Electric Taco. More episodes to come. More feedback from you is what I need. Comment, like, subscribe, hit me, and I'll hit you with 1,000 tacos for life. Every day. Free. No charge. Just kidding. Or not.